Okay, so hey, hello, how are ya? I haven't seen you in a while, and I know it's been a long time. I never have really the opportunity to do videos. I've been doing the Bay and Bay Bun Run thing for a year now, and like, you're always running. It's about 3,000 miles a week, and it's really good pay. I'm netting, not grossing, netting about $2,000 every week, which is just great. I cannot tell you how great it is. But the problem is that now I'm looking for another job. Yes, I'm leaving Bay and Bay because we don't have the bun run anymore down here to Roanoke. All they have is the little short runs out of the bakery in St. Paul. And you know, I really love this company. They treat me really, really, really good, and I'm super happy here. But they don't have the miles for OTR. I mean, if I was on OTR, I would not be working here today. And that's only because I'm very greedy and I require a lot of money. And it's not for myself, though, really. It's because, like, here's my bills right now, I'll tell you. My little cousins, one's 15, one's 14, and so it's time for the 15-year-old to have driver's ed. Boop, $300, okay? And they are, their dad is, he doesn't have a lot of money, so I help them out. They don't have a mom. And so I had to buy them school clothes. Boop, $300 more, maybe $400, who knows? Well, anyway, for Christmas, I want to get them a car. I'm just going to get them a $2,000 car on Craigslist. I've done that before, gotten a car for $2,000. You know, it needs a little work. As long as it says it's running and I look at the pictures and the body's okay and the interior's not ripped up, you know, maybe it's got an oil leak. Okay, fine. We can deal with something like that. Maybe it overheats. We can deal with something like that. But I just don't see buying teenagers like a car that I'm going to make payments on, because once they wreck it, and then cars today are so plastic, really paper mache, you know, then it's totaled and I've still got to make payments and I can't get them a car and nobody's happy. So yeah, it's going to be a $2,000 car. It's going to be for both of the girls, and you know, and then next year I've got the other girl. She's coming up. She's going to need driver's ed. I have to pay for it. So their parent, their dad, he can't teach them to drive in Texas. You have to have 7 years driving experience to homeschool your children on driver's ed, and he's only been driving for 3 years, so no, he can't do it. And so anyway, they're going to go to driving school. They don't have it in school anymore like they did when I was a kid. I don't know why. Maybe they got sued. I don't know, but so I had to pay, and I think it's $250, but I still have to Uber her to and from class. It's one day. And so anyway, moving right along with my story. So I really like Bay and Bay, but I blame them for us losing the bun run, the office people, because like when there's not trailers and I go there to drop off a trailer, my trailer's the only trailer there, where there's room for 14 or 15 trailers, and they don't have trailers to load the buns on, so they can't get their product out. You know, it really causes a problem. And so, and they tell me that, and this is granted, it's early in the morning, but they tell me that, you know, they've called all night long, they've left messages, they've sent emails, and nothing gets responded to. In the meantime, we got so many trailers sitting over there 30 minutes away at the Egan yard, and they can't bring any of them over there. I just don't understand it. I mean, I realize that they don't have racks in them, although usually there's always rack trailers sitting on the Egan yard, and the Denton yard too, although Denton yard is a ghost town. So you'd be hard pressed to find a trade trailer at the Denton yard. But still, you know, they're 30 minutes away and they have a shuttle driver. You know, do something. At least call them back. Customer service matters, and that is like the highest paying customer that we have. And for them to just blow them off, and And lately we have drivers who come in and bring the trailers with no fuel. Well, there's no consequences for that. Nobody says anything to anybody. Nobody gets chewed out. Nobody gets called on the carpet. Nobody gets a warning. Nobody gets anything. It just is what it is. Customer service matters. Customer service puts food on my table and a roof over my head. And it allows me to pay for driver's ed to change some little poor kids' future. It's important to me. And so I remember before I got the bun run, and we can turn down loads here, and I would tell them no, and then you get to tell them the reason why. You get to type it in, the reason why you turned it down, and I would just type in there, get used to hearing no until I see 4 digits in the miles, because I'm not taking a $700 miles run. So I can sit, empty out one day, and not load until the next day? No. So, to me, these trucking jobs are quid pro quo. When I make money, you make money. When I don't make money, you don't make money. That's the way quid pro quo goes. That's not easy to say. Quid pro quo. Well, so anyway, moving right along. So I really don't want to run reefer, and because I don't want to deliver in the middle of the night. I don't want to have to deliver in the middle of the night to a stupid grocery store where everybody has the same 3 a.m. appointment, and there's no parking on site. So don't go down there too early, and you better ski-daddle when it's all over with. And then you got to go check in. I think I went to an Aldi or something. I had the COVID, and I had just left home when I found I had the COVID. I was being real nice to this girl that I met on the internet, and she was posting all this Christian-y stuff and everything and saying she wanted to be a truck driver. And I said, hey, this was years ago, when COVID was going on. It wasn't in the height. It was like almost over. You didn't have to wear a mask in half the places anymore. And so I said, hey, come on out here with me, and, I can teach you what it's like to be a truck driver, and then you can decide, is that really what I want to do? Okay. She shows up at my house sick. I said, what's the matter with you? She said, well, I got it from my daughter who I'm staying with, and her kids have it too. But she went to the doctor. He said it is a virus, but it's not COVID. Okay. This was a nightmare, y'all. She was like blowing her nose and throwing the Kleenexes all over the floor. Like you couldn't even see the floor. There was so many Kleenexes. And then she had stopped at the dollar store to get all these snacks. She had this big old bag of snacks, and she's over there. Do you think I'm going to get fat? I'm thinking, I got fat and I don't eat like that. So yeah. And I go to drop a trailer, and I thought she would jump out and come watch. No. She was all the time on the phone with her estranged boyfriend, and she had the earbuds in, the wired, so I couldn't hear what he was saying. I just know she was always on the phone with him. Look, kick that alcoholic to the curb. You broke up with him. You said you wanted to move on. Leave him there. Are you just doing this for attention or what? She was like real pretty, and she thought that everybody was just gonna bow to her. And and I made her sleep in the top bunk. She didn't like it. She thought she was going to sleep on the bottom bunk. Well, no, I can't get up there. I can't climb the ladder. It's too hard for me. You're the guest. I bought sheets for the mattress up there, to make you happy. She climbs down. She leaves the light on. I said, and she's like, oh. So I said, okay, wait a minute. So I went and I got the fifth wheel puller, and I said, here, turn the light out with that. So she did. And then she just threw it on the floor in the midst of all her used Kleenexes. And so the next time I needed it, I said, where's that fifth wheel puller? And she glanced down beside her, and like real haughty, she said, I don't know. I said, well, get down there and find it. Anyway, she gave me the COVID. I kicked her off my truck. That's when I was driving for John Christner. And I told my dispatcher, I said, I don't care what you got for me. I'm going home. She's getting out of my truck. I'm sick of her. So I did take her home. I was fine, and I took her to the store that last day, and she wanted to get some medicine and stuff, and so I was getting a little sore throat, so I went ahead and I got some medicine too, thinking maybe okay. So I take her to my house where her car is parked, and she's like feeling all bad, like she can't even unpack her stuff, you know. And I'm thinking, well, I ain't doing it. You can leave it here and I'll throw it in the trash. So she drives off. And so I call my dispatcher. What do you got for me? Okay, go in the morning and get blah, 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 blah. So I take off the next morning. And she texts me and says, I went to the doctor. I've got COVID. Aye. My friend said, let that be a lesson to you. Never let anybody in your truck. Okay, they were right. I'm too nice. That's my problem. But by that night, I was sick. And I didn't get it real bad, you know. And back in those days, they were still taking your temperature before you were able to get through the gate. So I would just take a Tylenol 30 minutes before and knock out what little bit of fever I had. I always stayed in my truck all the time and carried the hand sanitizer. And, you know, I tried never to go into the truck stop at all. Because, you know, I want to be considerate of other people. Well, I can't even remember where I was going with this, honestly. I just get on these tangents. So, I don't want to run a reefer because I don't want to deliver in the middle of the night. I don't want to have to deliver in the middle of the night on Thursday and then, you know, have to load on Friday at noon and then unload on Sunday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and then load again on Monday at 1 a.m. Whatever. You know, it's like you're on the day shift, you're on the night shift, you're on the day shift, you're on the night shift. Why is that not illegal? All the stupid crap that they have that's illegal, why is that not illegal? That's dangerous. That's the most dangerous thing we face out here, I think, because the human body and mind just doesn't work that way. Anyway, yeah, so there better be an APU in there. I am not doing Opti Idle because I don't want to get shook awoke every 30 minutes. Like, really, give me a break. Get the APU. And so I have a little cat in here, and it's horrible. Neither one of us are happy about it. He's not a people person. If I try to pet him, he acts like he's Stuart. But I'm stuck with him until my cousin's dog dies, and then they get the cat because they can only have one animal where they live. So, long story behind that. If you want to know, say so in the comments, and I'll let you know. What else? No reefer, APU. I need to gross at least $2,000 a week, preferably more. I talked to somebody today. It was grocery stores. There's 1 to 4 stops a day. No stop pay. Well, no. I'm not driving a Mac. I'm not driving an International. That's it. I don't even want to work where they have Macs and Internationals because my luck is going to be, okay, we're going to put you in this Kenworth, and then the Kenworth gets broke down. It has to go to the Kenworth dealership, and it's not coming out for a month. And, oh, sorry, all we have for you to drive is this Mac. And you can either drive it or you can go home and wait for a month until your truck is ready. No, I don't want to do that either. So no Macs, no Internationals. And because I know I'm going to get stuck in one. Even they say, oh, well, no, we can give you we have Volvos and Kenworths and blah, 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 blah. I don't care. You don't know my luck. It is no good. I'm going to be in one of those Macs in a week. Just like when I came here to Bay Bay and I wanted Kenworth. I want to drive Kenworth all the time. I love Kenworths. So I got a Kenworth. Guess what? I made it from Denton to like the 20-mile marker in Oklahoma. Sucker broke down, had to go to the shop, and I got into a Freightliner. I'm telling you, that's my luck. What else? Let's see here. Yeah, I got a TV in here, so I either need I really don't need a TV, but I at least need a bracket. I have my own inverter, so I don't need that. Have my own refrigerator, don't need that. What else do I need? I have my own microwave. Don't need that. I guess that's it. You know, I never have anybody riding with me. I don't really like anybody. After her, I don't want anybody riding with me. Even my family, I do not want them riding with me. Let's see here. I'd have to get out my list because I talked to this guy the other day, and I was so impressed that the owner of the company called me, and he said they made their top driver who runs on recaps, and he makes $130,000 a year. Well, I can easily do that because I don't like sitting around. I'm not giving up my whole life to come out here and sit. I want to go. When my wheels are turning, I'm printing money. So, and I can do OTR, and I like running around in the ice and the snow. It doesn't bother me. I will park, but if I look out there and I see other people able to do it, not just one or two, but, you know, you look out the window and you see that there's more than 4 trucks on the road, you know, you can probably make it if you're a good, smart driver, which I am. So, you know, it doesn't bother me. I don't like being down here in Texas in the wintertime because, you know, all y'all drivers know, Texas does not take care of their roads. Put me in Wyoming where they sand the roads. Yeah, they close the roads down there all the time, but, you know, that's a nice break from the stress and everything of crossing those mountains. Where else? Wisconsin, they take care of the roads in Wisconsin in the mountains, you know. New York State, they sit on the side of the road when snow is forecast. Some people know what they're doing. Texans, we just don't care. Do not care. That's the way it is. Texans don't care. I had to sleep in my truck on the 4th of July so I wouldn't hear fireworks and I could get some sleep and leave out on the 5th of July because I was home on the 3rd of July and them suckers was popping off fireworks as rattling the windows. And you know what? I live in a subdivision. We're not allowed to pop fireworks. Have the cops ever come out? Not 1 year. I'm telling you, not 1 year, because they don't care. They got other fish to fry. It's Texas. My brother stays at my house. This is totally unrelated. My brother stays at my house and while I'm gone, and he won't let me put a light up in the back of the house. I got those Blink cameras, you know. He won't let me put a light up so I can see who's back there because he says he doesn't want a light back there because, no, it's inside the house. He don't want a light inside the house because he wants to be able to see who he's shooting if somebody's behind my house. My brother, he's 80 years old. He still gets around, man. If you lived in my house, you couldn't keep up with him. He is always on the go. He's always doing something. You look at him, you don't even look 80. It's crazy. But I have people watching my house. You know, I have people living in my house, so that's a good thing. And so I can stay gone for a while, and, you know, I don't really need to go home because everything's taken care of. I make sure that. I can see what's going on there anytime with those Blink cameras. I can even talk to people. They're really good. If you don't have Blink cameras, I suggest that you get them. So anyway, I am leaving Bay and Bay, and I am looking for a job. And this is like one of the longest videos I've ever made because I'm just running off at the mouth. I got to make another video now because I found out that somebody hacked into my YouTube. So I was going to make a video about protecting your identity because mine got stolen. So I'm going to do that in just a minute. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one. But I want to finish by saying I do love Bay and Bay. I think they're a wonderful company. I really recommend them. Not everybody's as greedy as me. Some people are perfectly happy to make $1,500 to $1,800 net per week. That is a lot of money. So, you know, if that's you, you know, and my truck never breaks down. They take really good care of it. They fix it really, really quick when it does break down. Not that it hasn't. Not that it has, but, you know, there might be something little, you know, that's wrong with it. I can't even remember the last thing that was wrong with it, but whatever. It was fixed in one day. Don't matter. It's a great company, and I highly recommend them. And I'm sorry to be leaving. I don't want to leave. But I also don't want to take a big pay cut of like $20,000 a year or whatever. And it'd be nice to see my family again in South Carolina. I haven't been able to do that on the Bun Run. So, bye y'all, and tune in to my next video, and the one after that, and the one after that I make in 3 years, and just keep watching. See y'all later. And hey, y'all remember I answer all comments. If you've watched this whole video, which 90% of y'all haven't, I know, I can see that. YouTube shows it. I answer everybody. I respond to everybody in the comments. So that's all. Bye.